Hello guys, it's Joel tutorial. Welcome to my channel. From this channel we are going to teach you about the graphic designing included coreldraw, Photoshop, Illustrator as well as Lightroom. From these softwares, once you completed these softwares, you will be able to be a professional graphic designer. And obviously it takes time to be a professional graphic designer. It depends with your consistency that you're creating your designs. So let's start with the coreldraw from this software. So once you completed coreldraw, you will be able to create logos, magazines, company profiles, brochures, e-flyers, like these kind of advertising materials, except photo editing. For the photo editing, you must have to learn Photoshop as well as Lightroom. So let's start with the coreldraw. Once we complete the coreldraw, let's move through the Photoshop and Lightroom. So I'm not going to talk too much. Let's start the video. Let's start the lesson. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, click a bell icon. So once we uploaded video, you can watch only if you click the bell icon. So don't forget to click the bell icon. Also if you have any issue of the lesson, don't forget to comment under the video, and also share our channel with your friends. And let's get started with the coreldraw. Okay, let's start with the coreldraw. I'm using coreldraw X8, and when you start the coreldraw, the interface is like that. Here you see the menu bar, and here you see the property bar, and in your right hand side you see the color palette. First of all, we have to take a new page. In your left hand side you see new, click that, and then you have the new page. And then you can see the property bar has activated as well as the toolbox. Okay, so always when you open the new page, it's coming A4 page, and so here you have the tools. Let's go one by one. And first, in here you can see the pick tool. When you draw object, the pick tool need to move the object in here and there. Always try to work with the page, in the middle of the page. You see, this is the page. You try to work in the page, and don't forget to save that. We just started it, and don't forget to save that. And I put a name, tutorial 1. Okay, I save that. Okay, so this is pick tool. When you come to the second one, you see it's called shape tool, and in here you see the little arrow, black arrow. When you click that, you have a drop down there, so you can see a lot of more tools. When you click that drop down, you see the shape, smooth, smear, twirl, attract, like these kind of tools. So we are not using much in coreldraw. In here also you see the third one is crop tool. This one also we are not using much. And zoom tool, obviously we are using if we need to zoom something, kind of like, let's see, like if we draw a object like that, if you need to zoom it, we are using this tool. Okay, and the freehand, in here there's another drop down. The first one is freehand. You can do whatever the object you need, like that. You can create an object with this tool, and if you want to put a color, you have to click the object first. You have to select the object, and then you move your cursor to the color palette, and your left click, you will see the filling color in there. When you click in your right side of the mouse, you will see the outline. You see the outline. If you want to make a thickness of the outline, here you see like it just like 0.2 millimeters, like we need to increase that. Okay, now we can see the outline is there. Okay, like the same, if you want to put a color, you have to move like that. If you want to put a outline, you can click outline, and in here in your right side, and you can increase the size of the outline. Okay, so this is the freehand, and here it's like 2-point line. If you want to create a single line, we just click a line. We just click here. I mean, like, so if you want to create a line, so we have to click in here and drag it and drop it like that. If you want to click a line here, click it and drag it and drop it here, like that. Okay, this is the tool. and then we move with the Bezier tool. This tool we are using this tool if we want to draw something. So most of the time we are using this tool. You see, like as example, if you want to draw something like a picture or something, we are using this tool. And yeah, and let's say like so in this area, this line, we need to make a little curve like that. So for that we are using the shape tool. Always if we need to curve something, we are using shape tool. How we do is like we need to curve this line. Let's say like so we need to curve this line. We come to the line and then we click in the middle. You see like a little black point is there, and then you have to right click of the mouse, then you will have another drop down and you can see to curve. You click that and then you have a little arrows in this corner as well as this corner. You can curve it like that. You see how it's working. Okay, so this tool we are using to make it curve, as well as if you need to draw a shape, you are using the Bezier tool. And in the rest of the tools I'm not going to teach you about the rest of the tools, but it's like too complicated sometimes. So remind that always we are trying to use with the Bezier tool. Some people are using like the polyline and as well as the pen tool, but it's quite similar like the Photoshop. Like so when you draw something in the Photoshop, you have to use the pen tool and like lasso tool. It's like a lasso tool and also the pen tool. And so for here most of the time I'm using Bezier tool. It's the easiest one that if you want to draw something, it's the easiest one which you have to use. Okay, that is that. So here is artistic media tool. It's quite similar to brush tool in the Photoshop, you know. So when you click that, you have a like a little brush, you know, it's kind of like a pencil. So you have a choices in your property bar. You can choose whatever the shape you need, and you see like if you want to put like this kind of shape into object, you can do that. Or else if you want to click like, if you want to do like freehand brush line, you can use this tool, artistic media, and select whatever the shape you need. So I need this one. You do like that. See how it's working. So in here you can adjust the thickness of the point. You see, so this is this. And the next one is rectangle. You see like so when you click the drop down, you see the rectangle and 3-point rectangle. Most of the time we are using the first one, rectangle. If you want to create a rectangle, we can use this tool, yeah. And the next one is ellipse tool. Here is another drop down. You see the ellipse and 3-point ellipse. Most of the time we are using the ellipse, you know. You can draw a circle like that. And here is polygon tool. In this drop down we have like the others, we have a lot of tools. So we are using polygon tool for draw a polygon. And if you want to do a star, we can use this one. And complex star, we can use like this tool. You see, if you need to create a spiral, we can use this tool. And the basic shapes, when you click the basic shapes, you have basic shapes here. You see like so when you come to the tools, you can see the property bar is changing according to the tool. You see, so here is like so when you click in this drop down, and when we come to the basic shapes, you have a property bar. It's a basic shapes. Like so there are few more different shapes. You can use whatever the shapes you need. And yeah, and arrow shapes, you have arrow shapes also. In the property bar is a different arrow. You can use whatever the arrow you need. Like in the banner shapes, you know, it's like flow card shapes. It's kind of like a basic shapes, you know. This and the dialog. So when you create dialogues, you can use these kind of shapes. for that. And if you come to the next one, okay, this is that tool. If you come to the next one, it's like, it's not, I mean, like, it's A, which means it's a type tool. So when you need to type something, you have to use this tool according to the tool. As I told you before, according to tool, here you see the property bar is changing. Here you see the font, here you see the size of the font, and here you see the bold, italic, underline, this kind of stuff. Okay, so when we work, like, so once you learn the basic tools, when we work, you will learn how we use this properly. Okay, this is this. And when we come to the next tool, it's like, it's a dimension tool. Like, if we need to measure the size, we are using, I mean, this tool, but we don't need to use, we are not using this one, because if we create an object, you see here the size, the width and height of the object in there, so we are not using this one. Here also the straight line connector, and this tools also we are not using. And here there's a tool, it's a drop shadow. Okay, let's see, we want to create object. Let's create a rectangle, let's put a color there, and we need to have a drop shadow for that. So what we have to do is, we click the drop shadow, click here and drag it here and drop down. Then you see the drop shadow is there. So if you want to make it a little darker, you can move this one into right hand side. If you want to make it a little lighter, you have to move this line into your left hand side. Okay, this is this. And when you come to the contour, like, when you come to the contour, that's another tool, so which we can use. Like, we just put a color. If you use the contour, what happen is, you have to click here and drag it here. Okay, it's not working, and you click here and drag it here and drop it here. You see there's another box coming behind the object. So if you want like 2, 3 or 4 boxes, you see in the property bar here, you have to change that. You see what happened? And if you want to make it the size, you can reduce and increase the size in here. And if you want to change the color, you can change the color. You see the color change is there. So this is the contour. And the blending tool, let's delete that, delete it. For the blending tool, let's put a color there, and we have moved another 2 objects. If you want to blend this, we are using this blending tool. Okay, so how we blend is, we have to click here, first object, and drag it until to the second object. Then you will have you see the blend that two in between those 2 objects. There are a lot of rectangles in between that. So that we call blending tool. Okay, and the distort, then the distort. So when we create a rectangle or whatever the object you want, when you come to a distort tool, you will have a property bar like these 3 objects is there. So when you click in the corner, and when you drag it like that, and drop it here, you see the shape is like that. You see the change, you see how it's changing the shape. Like when you come to the second object in here, when you click here and then click in the corner, and when you make like that, you will see how the object is changing. And then you can put a color in there and put an outline. I see it's like that. It's for the, it we call distort. Okay, so when we come to the envelope, so you will see like, so there are, as soon as like, so when you draw a rectangle and when you click the envelope, you will see the rectangle in middle of the rectangle. You see like little drop here, and you see there are points. Okay, so what we can do is we can drag it like this, we can curve with this, you know, this we call envelope. You see, even if you want, you can make it like that. You can make like different shapes. If you want to make a different shape, you can use this envelope to make it the shape, you know. So this is that. Also you can put colors. This is envelope. And this extrude tool we are not using much. Like if you draw like this one, if you use the extrude, it's like that. It's kind of like a 3D effect, you know. We can go to 3D, but you have to make it separate of the objects which you have created there. So I will teach you like, so when we come to the next lesson with this object, and just keep it in your mind, it's a extrude, which means like it's kind of like a 3D effect. Okay, you see, that is that. And the transparency tool, so let's create an object like that, rectangle, and fill a color, and this is the object. And when we use the transparency, which means you can do a transparency like that. So click it here, drag it to the corner. You see, like when you move this corner, you will see how it's changing. It's kind of like a shade up, you know. And if you want to shade whole object, so as soon as you click the object, as soon as you click the transparency button, you will see there's another button coming here. And what you have to do is you have to move in your right hand side or left hand side, and we'll get the transparency. And this is eyedropper tool. Okay, so when you click, if you want to pick the color, or like, so you see like you have the different colors, or if you have a different objects and you have colors, if you want to pick one color, if you want to get the color code of that, when you click that, you see the color code is here. Even without clicking, we just move in here, you see the color code. See, if you need the color code, we are using this eyedropper tool. Also, interactive fill tool. The next one is interactive fill tool, which means if you want to fill a color, you see, you can change the color from here in your property bar. You see, like, so when you click that, it's automatically changing, as I told you before. So you'll see the color is there, and you can move with the color. You see, it's changing, you know. So this we call interactive fill tool. And then we go for the mesh tool. So when you click in the mesh tool, you see like, so first you have to select the object, and then you click the mesh tool. You see like, so it's kind of like a few points in between in the middle of the object. When you click this one, you click the color, you see how it's changing. And here you see red. Here you want to click, you want to put like orange, and here you want to put green, here you want to put like blue. So this is mesh tool. It's kind of like a mesh. Like when you click the object, and when you come to the mesh tool, you see the mesh in the middle of the object, and then you can select the points which is over there, and then you have to click that, and then you see the colors. Okay, in the next one and the last one, smart fill tool. When you click that, you have to change the color in there, and when you click that, the color, where you pick the color, it's coming to the object. We are not using these tools because like we have toolbox, we have a color palette in there, so whatever the color we can pick from the color palette. So this is the toolbox of the CorelDRAW. So this is the basic toolbox, and this is the toolbox what we are using for the entire CorelDRAW package. It's changing when according to the product that you are creating, which means like if you want to create a logo, if you are creating a logo, so it's kind of like a different all the tools we are not using for the logo, but we are using some certain tools for the logo. So when we come to the next lesson, I mean like you will have an idea so how we use the tools. But as example, like if we create a logo, so we are not using all of these tools, we're just using some certain tools which we need to create that logo. Okay, so this is the toolbox. In today you have learned the toolbox and focus on that. So you just try to create some objects like that and put colors, put outlines, and type some text in there. Try to adjust the size of the page. Here is the page. It's like when you click the drop down, you have the different sizes. Just try to practice about the toolbox, and the next week when we come to the next lesson, we try to create something else. I will bring you some the interesting lesson in next week. So stay focused on this toolbox, and maybe next week I'll try to give you a link to download the CorelDRAW if you don't have the CorelDRAW. Let's stay focused this toolbox until next week. So guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and share this channel to your friends who need to learn about the designing. And if you have any issue of the software or any issue of the tools, don't forget to comment under the video. So I will see you guys on next week. Thank you very much for stay with us.